All right, thank you very much, Julia Wanjiku. It's nice to hear her voice in the morning, isn't it? It's a Breakfast Club with KBC English Service. I managed to speak with the people from KBC Channel 1. We managed to steal their cameras because this is such an important conversation that's necessary to have. As Julia aptly said it on the station, Katiba at 16. Imagine you were born in 2010. Let me tell you, if you were born in the year 2010, you're a blessed Kenyan because you grew up, you have literally grown up in a Kenya that has what everyone says is arguably one of the best constitutions in the world, not just in Kenya, not just in Africa, not East Africa, the world. We have a fantastic constitution. And let's talk about the 16 years that we've had this constitution, what has been working and what needs to be built on. And joining me for this conversation, so blessed. I love that we're having this conversation. By the way, it's my favorite day of the week. Just so you know, my name's Nick Ndeda. I love Thursdays. I was born on a Thursday, and I'm here on a Thursday morning with Dr. Nancy Baraza, former Deputy Chief Justice, and also very instrumental in this constitution that we are enjoying the rights of this day. Tell us about that.
Thank you very much, Wanainchi, and thank you very much, Nick. A great day indeed. A day we celebrate because that is the day we gave unto ourselves one of the most, if not the most progressive constitution in the world.
In the world.
And why is it considered the greatest constitution in the world? It is because we made it ourselves. I served as a commissioner on the Constitution of Kenya Review Commission, which was tasked with collecting and collecting the views of Kenyans for purposes of making this constitution. So I had the privilege, and indeed it is one of my biggest privileges, that I went around this country. We went to almost every village in this republic.
Right. That must have been a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot because we didn't want any Kenyan left behind in this very, very important process. And you remember, we had the independence constitution given to us by the British in 1963. It was made in Lancaster House. You know how far that is from us.
Very far.
Lancaster House, a model constitution which was given to every colony that the British were departing from.
Yes.
So we didn't participate. The values it carried were not our values. They didn't consult us. So it was a foreign constitution, and it didn't and then within that period, 1963 to 2010, it had undergone so many amendments that it completely lost its nature and structure and its value. Okay, so it wasn't serving us at all, and therefore the Kenyans struggled for a period of almost 20 years to get this 2010 constitution.
Wow.
And so we went to every Kenyan. What do you want your Katiba to be like? So it is not something we plucked from the sky. Kenyans, every word you read from there, every value that is in that constitution is the what Kenyans wanted. And so it is a happy day that we talk about this Katiba.
Yeah, a happy Katiba Day.
Happy Katiba Day to you too.
Happy Katiba Day, Dr. Baraza. And you said that, you spoke to every Kenyan. So we're also talking about the marginalized communities here. We're talking about the pastoralists. We're talking about the people with disabilities. How difficult, or is the word difficult, but how taxing was it to gather all these different Kenyans, different corners, different views, and then conglomerate them? That makes sense for everyone.
A very important question, Nick, because these are people who are so marginalized, so silenced. do you realize until this Katiba came, we never talked about persons with a disability. We never did. They didn't exist.
There we go.
And therefore you can imagine how they existed before. Completely marginalized. No resources given to them. No recognition given to them. You are talking about marginalized communities, and there are many. And we went to all those corners. We went to Turkana. We went to Marsabit, Hor, North Hor. All those far-flung places. We went. And I went personally. We, with the late Professor Okoth Ogendo, the guru of constitutionalism.
R.I.P.
I had the privilege of, going to all those places. And I remember going to a place called Ileret. It is on the border of Kenya and Ethiopia in North Hor.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it, indeed. You would never have heard of it. And let me tell you, we cried tears. These are people who have never experienced government.
Wow.
They had no schools, they had no dispensaries, and people just die. You know how you wake up and people just drop dead?
What?
Yeah, because there were no hospitals. The only school which was there reached class 4, and that is the school that the British left behind.
Oh my goodness.
So when you reach class 4, that's the end of your life. You can imagine. And then the hospital was a clinic with no medication, and there was no clinical officer, and the one who had been there died 2 years ago, and another one couldn't go there, and children and people walk naked. Oh no clothes. And children with big bellies and red hair.
We're talking about Kenya.
Malnutrition. You are talking about Kenya. And this is not just Ileret alone. It stretched far and wide, especially in those northeastern places, the Turkana places. Yeah. No water, of course. No food. In some places, people went without water for 3 good years. They never said, no roads, of course. And so you can imagine when we sat down to design the Constitution, Devolution. One of the most important chapters in this Katiba. Because through devolution, it was intended that governance would be devolved to the lowest level, the lowest level of our society. That power would be devolved, that participation of the people would be devolved to the lowest level, so that people, participate in governance. You can imagine, those people have never seen government. And when I was going there, we had a helicopter. And so we gave a ride to the then MP, sadly the late Dr. Bonaya Godana, who was my good lecturer at the University of Nairobi. So we gave him a ride, and he was carrying fishing nets. He had never been there. Yes. So we go with him. He had never been there. And we go, and he gives them fishing net, and these people are like, oh, thank you so much. We have never known it is the first time we are seeing an MP.
Wow.
And this ran across. I went to Turkana, I went to, all those places. And my colleagues also went everywhere. So this is the state in which we found our governance, levels of neglect, denial of basic services. They had never seen them. In fact, they greet you, they say, how is Kenya?
I know. Actually, Dr. Baraz, interesting that you should say. A few months ago, I was in Wajir, and I was speaking to the locals there, and they said, we used to say, if you're leaving Wajir, going to Nairobi, Nakuru, Naivasha, whatever, unaenda Kenya. And I'm like, excuse me, but you are in Kenya. So thanks to this constitution that we have now, 16 years later, at least now there's more inclusion.
Yes.
So Dr. Baraza, let's talk about the public participation
Yes.
bill, because now we recognize these people, we see them from every corner of the country. How is this? How is public participation going to change the country in general, especially now that we are 350 days, I think, to the elections?
Public participation is contained throughout the entire constitution, but mostly it is in Article 10 of the Constitution,
all right,
which talks about our values. It gives us our values of inclusion, of social justice, of non-discrimination, of looking for marginalized people, and public participation of the people. And mark you, the central philosophy of the Constitution is people. You know, it's people-centeredness.
Exactly.
The Constitution was not just to structure governance. It was not just to give us institutions, design how power is shared. It is meant to be a transformative constitution, which is very consequential, so that at the end of the day, after implementing our constitution, our important question should be, how has this impacted on the people of Kenya? Okay,
Absolutely.
It is not just something we say, oh, we have implemented, we created an independent judiciary or a legislature. No. Consequentially, how has this impacted? How has it maintained or contributed to the progress of the people of Kenya, to the dignity of the people of Kenya? And you can imagine, I started off by talking about illiterate. Was that dignity that those people experience? And
Absolutely,
by the way, it's not just there, even around here.
All corners.
All corners, even the so-called not marginalized areas, we found real marginalized people. And maybe not just materially, but also in matters governance. So at the end of the day, how are people participating? And it is very, very central to this constitution. And therefore, it is a value, which Kenyans wanted in their lives, that they participate, so that if we adopt another model of governance that excludes Kenyans, that is running counter to the spirit and expectations of the people of Kenya.
Yeah.
Okay? So that participation remains very important. In matters of development, people must decide what is a priority to them, because they decide. People, when we borrow money as government, people must participate, because they must understand your reason for borrowing, where you are borrowing from. Is it fair borrowing? Is it going to burden them, or it is going to benefit them? And they must have a say. And when you expend that money, how are you expending that money? And if we can talk about the chapter on public finance.
All right.
Very, very important. How the Constitution expects us, all organs of government, when we are spending our money, we must be prudent. We must be prudent. We must be guided by principles of equity and equality. We must be guided by the principle of intergenerational equity, so that we don't borrow and eat today and burden the future generations.
Tomorrow will come, but we have today.
So we must have everybody in mind, and the architecture of the Constitution itself. All the chapters. I think there are about 16 or 17 chapters. I'm sure you know something about it. They are so interrelated. They flow into each other. They advance the philosophy of people-centeredness, of equity, of social justice, of non-discrimination. Okay? They flow into each other so that you cannot remove one chapter without disorganizing that philosophy. Okay? You cannot wake up and say, I'm amending this constitution, probably for political expediency. You can't without destabilizing and messing up with the philosophy that is at the center of our constitution.
So, Dr. Baraza, we've noted how important public participation is. Right now, there is someone watching this probably in Mombasa or watching it in Eldoret, and they're saying to themselves, they've heard this on social media. We have a constitution, tukona katiba, I have my rights. Some people don't know where to access this constitution. As much as we always say, it's on the internet. Go to this website, search this thing. But beyond finding the constitution, how important is it for every single Kenyan who is watching right now, who is listening right now, to understand why it's so important for you to find a copy of the constitution, read it, so that you understand? Because I feel like maybe for a lot of Kenyans, we just don't realize how much power we have.
You are right. This constitution gives power back to the people.
We the people.
You are so powerful. Look at the preamble. We are the people.
We are the people.
It is not the state. It takes away power from the state and gives it to the people, so that nobody should lord it over Kenyans. Okay? And therefore, it is very important for Kenyans to understand the constitution, because then you will find out how much power you have as Kenyans. It took away, it decentralized power, it demystified power. Okay? And you remember, one of the major problems that led to the clamor for a new constitution was the centeredness of power.
Yeah.
And especially power centered not just in the executive, beyond the executive into a presidency. That's the situation we came away from. And we called it, the independence constitution had been amended to the extent that all power had been centralized in the presidency.
Yes.
Okay? Of course, to the detriment of the other arms of government. Parliament was emasculated, which is the other arm. There is the judiciary was emasculated. And the executive itself, to an extent, because power was centered in the presidency. And therefore, there were no checks and balances. No checks and balances. And when you lose checks and balances, then you risk getting into dictatorial governance, which we ran away from. Okay? So the constitution devolved the power to the people through various organs. Okay, it seeks to strengthen Parliament for its checks and balance on the other two arms. It seeks to strengthen the judiciary. It seeks to strengthen the executive, but with the idea that they check on each other, so that one of them does not override the other. Okay? And so we ran away from that situation of imperial presidency. And you know what went with imperial presidency? All power lay in the hands of the president. And the president decided who gets what. Maendeleo was carried in the hands of somebody who decided who preferred where to take Maendeleo.
We have come a long way.
We've come a long way.
Yeah.
It happened like that. So one man decided who gets Maendeleo. And therefore, that's how now you get the marginalized places, which never thought they were part of Kenya. And those who are politically not aligned were also left out.
Absolutely.
And so we ran away from there. So today, Brenda, when I listen to our leaders saying, oh, we must toe this line so that we get maendeleo, the Constitution takes us away from there. We shouldn't be begging anybody to give us maendeleo. We are entitled.
Mm-hmm.
And through devolution, devolution states how money is or resources are to be distributed in a very equitable manner. So, Kenyans, you have no reason to fear that if you don't sing Nancy Baraza's song, she may not give you maendeleo. No, maendeleo belongs to you.
It belongs to you.
Resources belong to you. And the Katiba says how much you are to receive. And there is the equalization fund, which goes to areas that were historically marginalized. So that today, those of us who did the Katiba, we get so shocked when we hear people are running around saying, I'm bringing you maendeleo. No. Nobody should do you a favor. No.
Wow.
Not at all. And if people knew the power they hold, they would just say, hold it. Hold it. You don't favor me. The Constitution gives us in an equitable manner. If you are from Homa Bay or wherever, where you say you are marginalized, the Katiba says how resources should come to you. But with devolution, that marginalization ought to be going away. 16 years down the line, the billions that devolution has brought, we shouldn't be talking about marginalization.
We shouldn't, actually.
No, not at all. Don't be cheated. Money is going elsewhere, maybe through misappropriation.
There we go, Dr. Baraza.
Absolutely.
They're devolution to benefit the entire country.
Yes.
All at the same time.
Yes.
We do have a few bad apples. We can't deny that.
Yeah.
So on that note, Dr. Baraza, I'd like us to check out some of the gaps that we've noticed. 16 years is not a short time. 16 years, like my co-host Julia said, someone is informed too. You know, a 16-year-old is someone who is very cognizant of what's going on around them. 16 years later, everyone who voted for, who was part of making this constitution come to be, they have noticed things that have been beneficial. But we've also seen some things that were like, why is this still happening 16 years later? Can you point out to a gap or two that you have noticed? And because we're very solution-oriented on the Breakfast Club on KBC English Service, let's see whether we can find a solution for it.
Okay, 16 years down the line. We can't say it is all doom and gloom. But we also cannot say that we have been perfect. So some things have worked, others are work in progress, and we must continue to perfect them. Devolution is one example of what I would say is a good idea with an attempt to implement. It has had some impact, but it has challenges.
Yeah.
Okay, it has challenges. In terms of delayed distribution or delayed funds for devolution, but those funds have reached those counties. They have reached them.
Yes.
So that if I go to my county called Bungoma, how much money has Bungoma received in 16 years? And not just Bungoma, that goes for every county.
Every county.
Tell me, if you have handled 100 billion Kenya shillings, and that is on the lower side. Most of these counties have handled almost 200 billion in the last 16 years. We ought to see a difference.
Do you see a difference?
Some, you see a difference. And devolution has had an impact.
Yeah, it has.
At least in terms of devolution of power,
Yeah.
And for those who are prudent spenders of public money given to the counties, you can see quite a bit of development. You see infrastructure. You see a devolved development. Right now, in this country, you can live anywhere. You can actually, except a few places, so that we don't all need to run to Nairobi to live the good life. I go to my Mount Elgon now. I can go and live there very comfortably.
Lovely.
We have a road, we have water, we have electricity.
I love Nanyuki.
Don't you love Nanyuki?
Yes,
where you can do your Wi-Fi, the roads are passable,
right.
The water is there.
The roads.
So, there is, it has worked for some.
It has worked.
But it can work better. When we get these allegations of corruption, it is a sad story. We see governors being arrested and they have built I don't know where. That is being anti-constitutional, especially this our constitution. We that man I have given you the background of the impoverished Kenyans. No schools, no food, no water. As a governor or anybody handling our resources, you start from there. Don't start from your own comfort. Okay, some have. I'm talking because I was in this thing. And Dada, I have a scar on my left leg.
Oh.
Because when we were agitating for this constitution, I was petrol bombed.
Oh, no.
In Kisumu.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. There was a commission called the People's Commission. The Ufungamano Commission. Before it merged with the Yash Pal guy commission, you remember? And then it became one commission. So we had separate commissions. This one of Ufungamano was for civil society, for religious organizations, for opposition parties, running counter with the government one, because this side did not believe a government which had resisted reforms left on its own, it would give us a good constitution. So we had that, and so these ones were doing their thing, and we were also doing our thing.
Wow.
And we reached somewhere where we were petrol bombed. Okay? So I speak about this from a point of real experience, the pain, the blood that was shed to get this Katiba.
Wow.
Okay.
And we appreciate it.
And maybe that's why I'm emotional and excited. I want to bring you exactly what it means to have this constitution. Going
to the ground.
Yes.
Witnessing the attacks, the people who were not for it.
Yes.
That's wild. That's wild. And we what you did, Dr. Baraza.
Thank you.
I want to share with you a couple of questions and opinions from the listeners. Grace Mutua said, first of all, it's so nice to hear from Dr. Baraza. That's what Grace says.
Thanks, Grace.
And it's great to have you here. Devolution has brought a lot of changes despite slow implementation. At least, like you said, it's happening. It's happening, albeit slowly, but progress. As long as you're moving, you're going forward. We like that. Vincent Njagi says, leadership that pretends to uphold the Constitution on the right hand, but the left hand is far from the right. Two more. Samuel Nyauma says, a regime that fails to honor rights of its citizens is nothing to be proud of. Let me pause on that. Let's respond to Samuel Nyauma. He says, it fails to honor the rights of its citizens. I'm feeling that, I don't know whether you've ever witnessed, you definitely must have witnessed this, when someone is arrested, or even before they get arrested, approached by a police officer, let's say, and there's like, hey, I know my rights, and then the police says, where? What do you mean your rights? And then, so, and I feel like that is something that contributes to bribery, to corruption, because they're like, even if I know my rights, this person who is an authority figure will be like, I'm the authority figure.
that constitution gave Kenyans rights. The Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights. Chapter 4. That's chapter 4. And I'm glad to say I chaired the thematic committee that drafted the Bill of Rights.
Okay, nice.
And so it gave Kenyans their rights. It liberated Kenyans and gave them their rights. The Independence Constitution guaranteed some rights, but limited rights, mostly civil and political rights. A few rights to land and property, but of course we know that was serving the regime that was going, and preserving the rights of those who are remaining behind. But we expanded this Bill of Rights so that we move beyond the civil and political rights, these rights of voting, rights of assembly, rights of conscience, rights of religion, etc. And we introduced Article 43, the socio-economic rights, which, of course, was grounded on the lived realities of the Kenyans. I've told you about lack of food, no schools, no education, no nothing. No water, no sanitation, all right? That's why we have Article 43 in that constitution, which guarantees us a right to food, okay? Not free food, a plate being put in front of people's faces or tables. It means us being given an environment by the government, an environment that enables us to produce food, okay, to feed ourselves. And if we have such an environment, wouldn't we produce our food?
We would.
We will. Okay, absolutely. If we have water and we have roads that can transport our food.
We have great weather as well.
With great water. So that's what Article 43 says. Schools, okay, education, free education, up to, I think, some level. Okay? Affordable health care. Okay? Water, shelter. That is what the expanded Bill of Rights says. So it gives us many rights. Rights to security, so that we are secure, that is Article 29. Right to dignity, that is Article 28. Nobody should treat you with indignity, okay? Nobody should play around with your dignity. Your security is guaranteed so that you are not harassed by anybody, okay? Even if a policeman is coming to arrest you, he should do that with dignity. Not chasing you like a rat. No, the Constitution moves us away from there.
How do we tell them that when to use your words when they chase you like a rat?
No, that is wrong. Dignity is guaranteed under Article 28.
Okay. Dignity
in all situations, in all circumstances, and the police, we moved it. It was to be a reformed police, because these police which chases people like they are rats and shoots them, those are police of those years.
Yes.
Okay? Because we came from a cruel regime of colonialism.
Yes, because they learned it from the colonizer.
Yes. So that takes us away. Now, the police that is envisaged under the 2010 Constitution is a civilized police. An educated policeman who understands the rights of the people. So most of them are doing this probably because they don't understand what they are and who they should be. They shouldn't be chasing away people around. Even if you are to arrest me in
a dignified manner. Okay, Dr. Baraza, I think it's tomorrow that they unveil the brand new police uniforms. There's a bunch of new police officers being brought on. And 16 years into this constitution, that means that, you know, the new batch of police officers that we have are definitely cognizant of the new constitution. Do you feel, Dr. Baraza, that, remember back in our days when we used to study GHC, geography, history, civics, do you think that, do you feel that the constitution in its entirety, because it can be broken down from maybe class 4, 5, 6, go to junior school, go to senior school, do you think that this is something that ought to be inculcated in schools for the purpose of, when an ordinary citizen outside, I walk out of Broadcasting House here and I'm walking along Moy Avenue and maybe I violate something and an officer comes to me and says, I'm about to arrest you, and I would say, yes, I just realized that I did that, as opposed to what we see nowadays where it's I am an authority figure, I am arresting you because I know that you have done something wrong. Nimefanya nini? You know, and then it evolved to become a whole other saga. Do you think that we should start teaching this in schools? Because my daughter is 12, and I keep telling her that, you know, maybe you need to know exactly what is going on in this country.
We should. In fact, we should, from day one, once we gave unto ourselves the Katiba, we should have made it our business to teach every Kenyan. And therefore a system where every Kenyan reads and is taught about the Katiba and especially the rights that it guarantees. So that's an important observation. We should do that. I think schools are doing, but I think at a higher level or something, universities, of course, we are teaching. But it should be something we start with from nursery school.
Oh, absolutely. Nursery. Okay.
Yes. And
sure.
I have just come out of gender-based violence and femicide. I chaired the task force, the presidential task force.
Wow.
And one thing that we discovered is that all these abuses, sexual abuses, gender-based violence, is because people don't understand that women, for example, enjoy rights. Okay? That men cannot just go exercising their power to beat women up. Okay? That the value of respect for human dignity is entrenched in the Constitution. Most people don't know. So I went to places, you know, I went around the country with the task force, and people are like, but what's wrong with beating a wife? And you see now that is where femicide...
That's where it stands.
People don't understand this Katiba. It hasn't... We are still living in bad days. Okay? But if we all knew the values of this Constitution, then we wouldn't dehumanize anybody. We would move away from negative culture, which says that as a man I must beat. Okay? But so you are right. I think the Katiba must be even be translated into many languages and given to the people and be taught in chiefs' barazas so that it becomes part of us. People will know their rights. The policeman will not run and shoot us. No. Because he knows his duty.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons why we appreciate Gen Zs. There are some Gen Zs out there who are they take the Constitution and then they interpret it, rather translate it, for a lack of a better word, to a language that the Gen Zs understand. So and it's great. I guess that's probably the reason, Dr. Baraza, why we say that everyone says our generation, we keep saying, Gen Zs are so bold. It's because they are aware.
And they are empowered.
And they are empowered, that is the word.
I teach them at the university.
Oh, fantastic.
They instead teach me.
They teach you?
They teach you. So I sit there and I listen to them. They are so empowered.
We appreciate Gen Zs. There is something I have to ask you. This is from a listener. Wow. Phyllis Ngiri says, Dr. Baraza said we've moved from imperial presidency. Did we really?
We ought to have.
Oh, wait. We ought to have, or have we?
The Constitution moved us from imperial presidency.
It did?
It did. Mm-hmm. I don't know the situation right now, but you see, when we are implementing the Constitution, there are bound to be challenges.
Absolutely.
And they are bound to be threats to the values of the Constitution. But what we need to do as Kenyans is, and as people who govern, is if we live by the Constitution, then we should never allow our country to slide into imperial presidency. Threats are there, when we are implementing. So that is what we should guard against. But what I can say is the central problem, among others, was that centralized power, which converted the presidency into an imperial presidency. So that one, I'm not saying it is happening, but threats
are there.
Threats can be there,
and they can be checked and corrected.
That is the reason that the Katiba is there. It should keep checking, and people themselves should be aware, and where we are sliding backwards, people should raise it, because we came from a very dark space. We came from there. Some of us lived through it. I was at the university during Jomo Kenyatta, the senior. So I have seen many regimes.
Right. Yes.
Kenyatta, part of the Kenyatta senior regime, then the whole of Moi regime, and then to Kibaki, the loveliest regime, because I worked as a deputy chief justice in that regime.
Yes, you did.
As a guy who never interfered with Kenyans, nothing. He gave you a job and sat back
and said, "I believe in you."
Yes.
You will do your.
Because you have been given this job on merit. On merit. And institutions were left to work. If you are a public service commission, you know what your duty is. And of course, bearing in mind these principles of equity, competence, non-discrimination, dignity, they should guide you. You are a chair of the PSC. How is PSC exercising these values, or ensuring that these values guide our actions as PSC, or is it TSC? You get it?
Yes.
We ran away from there, so that no Kenyan should feel I cannot get a job because rules are not being followed. We ran away from there. Yeah. And if we followed that and we left the institutions to work, a Kenyan, even if you miss out on a job, but you have fairly missed, you'll understand.
Yeah.
So, and then there are these independent commissions also entrenched in the Constitution to do their job, to oversight government. Okay? How are our human rights being exercised? The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, and it churns out reports about the state of our human rights implementation. Okay, the stories are grim. These police things and killings, and it comes there. And those commissions should be manned and womaned by people who are competent and who embrace the values of the Constitution. Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Okay? And bearing in mind that your mandate is to be fair, is to be equitable, to be inclusive. Okay? So can you see, if they did their jobs right, where would we have a problem?
We wouldn't have an issue.
Would we have an issue?
Absolutely not.
The moment you walk out of this constitution, you mess. Totally, you mess.
A beautiful constitution we have. We need to follow it. We need to know it, learn it, and pass on the information to as many people as possible. As we close, Dr. Baraza, what's the one message that you would want to give to every Kenyan who's watching, who's listening, about how crucial it is for you to understand the Constitution, to know it, and to pass on the knowledge about it to everyone you come across in your circles, where you live, where you work, etc.
The message: it is important to understand this Constitution. It gives us power. It gives us our entitlements. It recognizes the centrality of we the people. It has taken away power from one center and devolved to us. Yes. So it's important to understand. If you don't understand it, then you might be shortchanged in very many ways. The finances a little can be given to you and you are forever grateful, when actually probably you are entitled to much more than that. That you have public participation in every aspect of our governance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. We will not tell you where to do your due diligence. Find it. You know where to find it. Do not pretend. Former Deputy Chief Justice, Dr. Nancy Baraza, thank you so much for coming in this morning. We appreciate the great work you did to bringing this Constitution to life. And you know what? I hope that the next time we meet, we're going to be talking about more milestones that we've achieved thanks to the great work that you did.
Thank you very much, Nick. That has been...
For the men and women of substance, Mambo ni matatu. 1. KBC Channel 1. 2. Saturday. And 3. Rumba.
Vile tu amesema rumba, nimeingia ndani ya nyumba, ndani ya kipindi, nikupatie miziki ya rumba, miziki tamu sana.
Every Saturday from 10 p.m. to midnight. Join me, Simeon Mfumu Kimbangu, the Rumba Supreme Leader, alongside
DJ Mato Sibor mwenyewe.
Rumba ya PDG ndani ya Bridge over Congo, KBC Channel 1. Toleka.
Kwanza kitambo nilikuwa naongoja hii siku, lakini leo nimefika, nimejisikia vizuri sana.
You might think they are small kids, but some were born with